Hey guys, today's video is IELTS Speaking Full Mock Practice 6, in which we will learn how to answer questions in your speaking test. And if you want to achieve 7 in your speaking, then do watch this video. Okay, let's talk about childhood. Did you enjoy your childhood?
I loved my childhood because childhood time is such a time in any of the children's life in which the minors can have the best time with which they can accomplish their things. For example, they can play worry free, they can spend the time, they can play with their friends in a wholesome way.
What is your first memory of your childhood?
I vividly remember when I was a minor, maybe 7 to 8 years of age, there was a drastic flood in my city, and my father took me to a place where this devastation actually occurred. And since that time, I got so fascinated to see the destruction around, and this particular childhood memory has marked a kind of spot in my mind that is still fresh in my mind.
Did you have a lot of friends when you were a child?
I was not much into many friends in my childhood time because my family was all time around with me, and I used to stay with my grandparents and my siblings. I was so focused into playing with my own siblings rather than making friends.
What did you enjoy doing as a child?
I still remember when I was a small child, I used to go to the playground every evening, other than attending the classes in the school. And the attending tuitions were one of the major cores of my time, but still, sporting activities remained my best preference during those times.
Okay, let's talk about food and cooking. What sorts of food do you like eating most?
My favorite cuisine for all time is chicken breast because chicken breast is rich in protein and it contains all the essential macro and micronutrients that are essential for our mental and physical well-being. And the beauty is that such nutrients are so much helpful in strengthening the metabolism and improving the immune system as well.
Who normally does the cooking in your home?
I would have to say it's me only because I loved to cook since my childhood. When I was a minor, maybe of 8 to 9 years of age, I started making chapatis, and I love to make chapatis for my family. Since that time, I had tried so many recipes and delicious desserts, making and preparing myself and serving to the people around.
Do you watch cookery programs on television?
Not much because this I have certain talent of cooking in me, and that's all given by my parents. I have always watched them since my childhood, the way my mother used to cook things, and even the beauty is that my father was a brilliant cook in his times, and I always used to see him cooking in the weekends, and I always copied and tried it in my own life.
Do you prefer eating out or eating at home?
Well, it just depends because I am not much into, as I already mentioned, I don't have much friend circle of mine. But yes, sometimes I like to dine out with my family because it gives us a kind of happiness, and I love when the family eats together and smile. It gives me a sense of happiness and relaxation when I see my family around me, dining and laughing with each other.
Okay, that is the end of part 1. Part 2, cue card. Describe a house or apartment that someone you know lives in. You should say whose house or apartment this is, where the house or apartment is, what it looks like inside, and explain what you like or dislike about this person's house or apartment. You will have to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make some notes to help you if you wish. Start.
Housing apartments are very important for any individual to possess in one's life because it's a kind of asset that one makes for the whole life where the person wants to stay happy with a family. So, today I would like to describe the best apartment which I have come across. And I have seen it in a way. It is such a luxurious apartment of my best friend residing in Sector 18, Chandigarh. And I got so mesmerized to see such a big castle like house because I have never seen such a big home in my life. And it's such a home which is almost in a canal, I suppose so. But yes, it's so spacious and so luxurious. The way it has made the architecture is such a profound look that the people across the locality comes to see it. And the way it has made, my best friend has taken one of the finest architects from Chandigarh who made this house of her. So, this particular apartment has five master bedrooms attached with bathrooms and a kitchen. And the beauty is that it has the front and the backyard along with the huge gardens. So the best thing about the castle like house is that it's such a spacious that one can roam around. One doesn't even need to go out for a long walks. One can do the fitness inside the home only because the garden is so big. One can run there and do certain kind of exercises. It's such a spacious and a big size home that I got so much into it. And I started questioning her. The way you carried out the whole process took almost 2 years and still got accomplished in such a finer way was really mind revolving. So the best thing I liked about the home is that it's space only because it's such a
Okay,
big.
thank you. That is the end of part 2 Q card. Part 3 abstract talk, in which I will ask you some follow-up questions. So my first question, what kinds of home are most popular in your country?
In my nation, every kind of homes are in vogue. For example, if we go to the countryside, there people still used to live in open size homes, and they, as they are more oriented to stay in open spaces, so they build certain homes which are quite spacious and which the air ventilation is quite heavy. But as compared to the homes which are urbanized or urban based, there people used to stay in flats and other kind of small apartments, maybe two or single or double bedroom areas where people don't have much space to live in, but still such things they carry out to live in such surroundings.
Do you think that everyone would like to live in a larger home?
No, it just simply depends on one's own choice. If I talk about my personal choice, I would certainly love to live in a big size and an open house because I always stayed since my childhood in a big house, and I love to stay in a open house. But that just depends on a person. If a person is a middle class person who doesn't have much salary or who doesn't have much resources to live in such big apartments, that person can only dream of living in a thing. But yes, there are certain persons who work so hard to achieve such big dreams and they try to accomplish in a way.
What do you think are the advantages of living in a house rather than an apartment?
The merits of living in a bigger house is obviously the space, because in a bigger house there is a huge amount of space where one can roam around, one can sit around with an ease without any restriction of coming or going anywhere. Whereas if we compare it to the areas of a small apartment or a flats, there the restriction of space is always there, because people have to climb stairs and go to their uh, the restricted area where they don't have much of the air ventilation to the backyards, and they don't have much of the backyard and the front yard where the air can pass. So I think it's always good to live in a open house.
Okay, my last question. How easy is it to find a place to live in your country?
Well, as I already mentioned, there are two specific types of areas where one can build his or her home. That is to specify in a way, if we dream of living in a countryside, that is village side, there one has a big space, one can buy land on a small affordable rents or smaller amounts, where one can dream of buying or constructing a home in a bigger level. There one can stay in an open or big size homes, as compared to the urban side homes, where the land is comparatively so much costly that it is not affordable by any of the individuals. Only the rich class or the upper class people who have the huge salaries or huge amount of resources can just think or dream of living in such areas. So according to my perception, it's better to live or in the countryside rather than the urban side area.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of your speaking test. Guys, do not forget to subscribe my channel IELTS Jaunty.